The world as we know it has changed forever. We have to unite more than ever. It has never been easier to connect. Social media is the great equalizer. As we continue to learn from each other, it allows us to challenge our beliefs, turn our fears into action. How far can we go? It's up to us. We have to conquer our fears, crush mediocrity, stay motivated, dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. In the think tank, we will never settle for anything less than an extra. You're in the think tank right now with Martin Spencer. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. DiIvory Edgecomb. Met him at a conference years ago through a mutual friend, and we've stayed in touch. He's dynamic, he's energetic, and I can't say any other words than introduce him and let him tell you all about his life, what he does. He's a high performance coach. And do we need that nowadays? So DiIvory, welcome to the think tank, my friend.
Thank you, my man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Well, I tell you what, tell our audience a little bit about you, your background.
Well, I'm an a person, come from average beginnings, like pretty much anybody else in the middle class, and was able to find little tricks and little hacks to be able to push myself levels, higher limits, and be able to be around some of the most prominent people today that most people would always dream that they could be around, but it's possible for everybody else too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, where did you go to school?
I went to school in American Heritage, which is South Florida. Funny because where I'm from, City, which is now Miami Gardens, you are not expected to go to a private school. So I went to a private school just off of the strength of me playing sports. And by me being able to do that, I was able to bring my younger brothers on at the same time. So at the same time, I was there as an eighth grader playing varsity football all the way through high school. Graduated. I afforded my younger brothers an opportunity to be in the private schools and stuff as well. So I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I was just saying to you earlier, a when I started, I met a gentleman who lived in Miami, and he does exactly what you do. He calls himself a high ticket player.
Right.
So it's very interesting. It's very interesting how people come from humble beginnings, and they look around and they say, "Hey, you know what? I can do better. I'm not subject to my environment." And he said nobody taught him that. It just came from within, and the same thing I heard from you. Humble beginnings, and know that I can excel. I can excel. When I tell people all the time that, I have worked for myself. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've never had a job. I've never had a job. It's not because I'm lazy. I have the ability to do just as good as anybody else. It's going to take work. It takes work. It doesn't just happen. It takes work. So I had that same thing from you. You always say, and every time I talk to you, your energy is so high. You just, your energy. You are just so passionate about what you do. And
yes, most of the energy just comes from, and if you got to live with passion. When I was a kid, it all pretty much started with curiosity. And I wrote this in my book, Bridging the Gaps, which is an Amazon bestseller.
Oh, wonderful.
My favorite, I'm sorry?
That's it. Well, I didn't know about that, but go ahead.
Yes, Bridging the Gaps. You can find on my website. It's an Amazon bestseller, and my favorite chapter in it is curiosity, because one of the things that seem to fade out as you grow up and lose your curiosity. When you're a kid, you dreamed all the time. You used your imagination. You were so passionate about a whole bunch of things. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a police officer, you want to be all of these things until you start growing up and the real world hits you and you're like, maybe I don't want to do that no more. Why? Because your curiosity faded out, your imagination faded out. You can go play tea party, just cups, right? You see the little tea parties, no water in it, no nothing. They just pretend. When you're a kid, you do all this pretending and your curiosity is at its most high. But as you grow up, somewhere along, people tell you, oh, to stop dating, oh, pay attention in class, and oh, don't do this. And then you start fading out of that. When you fade out of that, now you're stuck into the real world, what people call it. And you've lost that whole imagination, that whole visionary, that whole thought process of where you're going to be and what you're going to do next. So I've never lost that. Kind of went away as I was growing up, but I've always sat there and like, what if, those questions, what if I, can I? And immediately, something within me, it'll just put me back in curiosity mode, put me back in visioneering mode. And if I can see it, I'm curious to be like, is this real? Is this possible? So I just start moving towards it every time. And like I said, I'm from humble beginnings, and I've been able to, coach high level professionals and be around some of the greatest entrepreneurs and celebrities that people know today because I was curious. How can I get a hold of them? If I coach them, I know I can bring them some value. How can I get in contact with them? So it's those things like that. And if your curiosity is high for those people that listen to this, are always curious about things, that means it's for you. You just have to continue to be more curious and get into your passion and push towards it. That's all.
Great, man. You mimic a lot of what I mean. When I'm listening to you, it's like, wow. It's amazing how people of like mind seem to sync and get together.
Of course.
I have zero.
I told you a long time ago. I said you're probably the older version of me.
Yeah, I have zero tolerance for anyone who has any negativity. Zero tolerance. My wife and I had a discussion a lot, and she always said, when I meet someone, she always says, boy, and I told her, she said, I wonder how that's gonna last, because she knows that when I say certain things that it doesn't resonate with her, with my mindset, and it's so true. You can meet someone right away and know right away whether you guys gonna resonate, and I use the word resonance. I use the word resonance a lot. Resonance comes from just that that inner feeling that you have, that I mean, I don't know where it comes from, but if it resonates, it's your vibration. There you go. Put it succinctly, yes, your vibration,
your energy. So if you have high resonance for something, high vibrancy, of course you're going to align to it, and actually you're going to push towards it. The way I fell into becoming a high performance coach is kind of because of that. Because once I completed college, and I knew that, the NFL wasn't for me. I've had aspirations as a kid to, play collegiate ball at the highest levels, play to the NFL at the highest levels. I had my oldest daughter in college. So that kind of shifted everything. It kind of shifted from like, hey, it's just all about me if I make it to the NFL, to like, am I going to continue, practicing for training camp, going out to teams and not being able to bring any income because I had a kid to provide for. When I was in college, I seen all of the older guys, waste a year or 2 or 3 coming back every year for pro day from my freshman year all the way to my senior year. The guys who didn't make it, they're coming back every year still with that hope and that dream of like, I'm going to make it this year. And just seeing that it's possible for, people when you get older, I was like, hey, that's going to be me, but how can I have that energy and shift it? How can I have clarity into what I'm doing? And when it didn't work out right away for 2 teams, 2 Canadian teams, and switching back between different agents, it didn't work out in the NFL. I immediately got into like, hey man, what's my legacy? What am I going to be known for, and how am I going to take care of my daughter? So it immediately shifted into get a job mode, and then I got more curious because I'm like, this is not the job that I want.
I know, but sometimes when we get in job mode, it's not about that we've lost our ambition, but it's almost that survival instinct. I got to figure it out. You have a daughter. I know I have ambitions, but a job is temporary. A job is temporary. And a job, I tell people, a job is temporary. You take a job because you have to survive, you have to eat and take care of your family, but you can still work on your dream.
Correct.
Which is what you did. You can still work on your dream and then eliminate that job. And while the dream comes complete, but you never lose sight of it. You never lose sight of it.
Mine was still more pushing towards curiosity. When I got out, it was, what am I interested in? I came from a law enforcement family. Police officer or correction officer, anything in law enforcement didn't really interest me at the time. A security job at the same time. I worked at a gun store just to provide that, income for my daughter. I didn't want to be the deadbeat dad. I didn't want to not be able to take care of my child. So at the end of the day, it was like, how can I get some income? And then as I start trying to align myself around people who are doing way more than me, I went from working at the gun store to becoming a police officer.
Right.
And that happened in like 30 days when everybody else's process is like 45 days to 90 days. It was just like, hey man, put in. So I put in, I got a degree. It worked out. I went and did my interviews. It was 30 days. One of the fastest hiring processes I've ever seen since I've been in law enforcement. And I have spent up until today, 13 years. So when I start doing that, it was, what more do I want? And it was just taking actions on everything that I was curious at that moved me along the line. I went from becoming a business coach, business advisor. Then I went to being a marketing advisor. And then as I'm doing this, one thing that I realized, exactly what you pointed out in the beginning, is I have such high energy and high passion to just being able to get people to perform, how to get them to do more. And I was the coach or advisor that wants you to replace me, because I want you to understand what you're doing. And when you understand what you're doing, you don't need me anymore until there's another level, then you bring me back.
There you go.
So I was always, talking to people and talking to other advisors and coaches. Even the best of coaches have their own coaches. Right. And they always told me I was the weird guy because I'm trying to I'm killing my own sales, or I'm killing my own business because I'm replacing myself. And it was funny, I never got it. And I was like, you know what? You're right. If I'm replacing myself, I don't need to be in marketing. And then I really was like, I need to be in high performance. It's this thing I've been doing all my life, even up until now.
Good. Wonderful. Yeah, it's amazing how when you, as a child, like we said, children dream a lot. Like they say, they always say, Daddy, can I have this for Christmas? They visualize what they want for Christmas. Okay. They say you want a toy truck, or you want whatever. And you know what? That dream becomes a reality.
You're right.
If we go back to being like children again, and we dream, I'm a dreamer, man. You can call me whatever you want. My wife always said, man, you a dreamer, boy. You never stop dreaming, and which is so true. I said from the time I was 17, I left the Caribbean. I came up on track and field scholarship, and I've just been dreaming, and I seek opportunity, and it's just dreams and dreams. And if you dream and you see, sometimes you have no idea how you're going to achieve that dream.
You're right.
But if you're passionate, and it takes a little bit of work, you network, you do whatever you have to do. You align yourself with people, with the right people.
The universe helps you along.
Right. Every dream I've ever had has always come true. Every dream. I've got some, and then, like I said, I always say, if you, like Les Brown says, if you can dream and see the sky, even if you miss it, you might get the stars.
Yeah.
So you're still gonna get through. I have another saying that I use from a gentleman called Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher. Sometimes I'm sitting in my office and I'm here and I'm dreaming, thinking of things, what and where and how and wish, just everything going. And it says, if you do nothing, nothing is left undone. Check this out.
Right.
If you do nothing, because your subconscious knows what you want. You're sitting there relaxing. Let's say you have a glass of wine or a beer, and you're just chilling by yourself. And then your wife might walk by and she said, "Are you dreaming again?" So yes, babe, it's true. I'm dreaming again. I'm thinking in the future. I want to get this. I want to do this. I don't know how, but I just see it. I know it. So
but you've got that for people like you who are actually imagining and dreaming of more. Most people now are stuck into the conditioning phase, which is what I mentioned before. When you start moving into the job world, everything from birth is meant to condition you. You've been conditioned by your parents. Your parents have been conditioned by their parents and their parents. So at birth, you might be, a couple months, then you start moving to a couple years. When you start talking 3 or 4, you're like an 80-year-old person. You got all these ideals and things that are happening on top of your actual age. And it's only until you get to maybe 10 or 12 in between that age, when you start reaching your own level of consciousness to make your own decisions, you're still 100 and something, because now you've been preconditioned to all of this. And then as you go through the school process, it's conditioned to get to the next level. You make it, the highest is high school. Okay, well, now there's college. Well, college don't work out for everybody. But do they teach anybody like how to succeed after high school?
Exactly.
They tell you need to go and get your GED, but they still don't teach you how to succeed. Exactly. And it's the same thing after college. You go to college, you spend 4 years like I did. And after that, you come out, you say, hey, I got my degree, I'm ready to work. And they, well, where's your job experience? You're like, wait, hold on, nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
I'm an athlete. I couldn't even have job experience. What people don't know in the athletic world is when you have a scholarship, you're owned by the school. You really can't do I started as collegiate running back. I was told my junior, senior year, when you're still, getting ready to transition into the world, I wanted to go do summer jobs or the job fair. Yeah, go ahead and do it, but your starting job might be in jeopardy when you come back. Wait, what? I could still go to workouts. I could still make everything, but my job is going to be at jeopardy because, yeah, we want you focused. And then that's when I start realizing what collegiate sports really did, which is why in my, high performance coaching, it's not just about the 5 to 6 core principles of high performance. I also add the athlete mentality on top of it, which is why my coaching is called the athlete's edge, because it's 4 core principles that athletes have to understand and do to be one of the top, athletes in their sport, and not just in even college. This goes to the professional level as well.
Wonderful.
So breaking away from that conditioning and being curious, man, and being able to dream. Because if you don't dream, you can't enjoy it and visualize anything. You're actually sitting back enjoying conditioned TV. What's on TV,
Because one of the things that I look back and I see in my life, and because I'm an avid reader, and they talk about the word no. Like you said, growing up as a child, all you ever hear is no. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. No, 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 no. So we get conditioned. A lot of people get conditioned to the word no. That you cannot, you can't, you can't do this. You can't go outside. You can't call your friend. You can't go on the computer. You can't do, that paradigm has to change.
Right. I changed now with my kids.
Right.
I asked them why.
Right.
And my oldest daughter now, I say, sell me. You want it? Sell me.
Sell me. There you go.
I make her start proving her point, make her start understanding sales at a young age, which I wish my parents would have did to me.
Right.
Because, you're selling every day and don't even know it. People say they hate sales, or I hate salesmen, or I don't want to go into this profession. Well, sorry to tell you, you've been selling every day and just haven't realized it.
Exactly.
So why not start young?
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, what I was going to say was that when I'm growing up, my dad was so strict with me. Oh my God, he was so strict because I'm the first child. I'm the first of 7.
Oh, you're the island family too. Yeah,
exactly. So I had to be a role model. I had to be above the fray. He had me so, but I didn't understand what he was doing. He made me so responsible. I had that. My moral bar is so high. I've been associated, being in America, in the States, in college, and being an athlete, a super athlete in college. I was a top world-class sprinter. Even when I was in college, I had that moral bar. I couldn't do nothing wrong because I was so conditioned. Fear of disappointing my dad. I had situations where, people were doing different things, and maybe even selling weed. But you were tempted to do things, and then you stop and you say, you know what? I can't do this. If I did that and I got busted, then what would my dad say? And I was in my 20s, okay? Yeah. So I had been conditioned with the way he brought me up. So all my life I've had this high bar of I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I think before I even attempt to try something negative. And that's the way my whole life has been. I stop and I think because I've been conditioned in that mode.
Right. I agree with you as well. Same thing with my parents. Island background, they teach you this, and in hindsight, you only understand it. But while you're doing it, it's like, man, come on. I didn't do it out of fear. I always did it as I'm going to make them proud, because I've always had this higher bar that I'm going to make myself proud before I make anybody else proud. That's right. And one of my dad's sayings all the time as I was growing up, I wanted to be a kid and he wanted me to be a young adult. So he's like, while you're out there playing and doing nothing to advance yourself in your field, someone's out there working while you're sleeping.
That's right.
And it always hit me at night, and before I go to bed, somebody's out there working while you're sleeping.
Somebody's
working. Let me stay up an extra hour and do some push-ups, or let me stay up an extra hour and watch a football game or watch an ESPN replay and start understanding, my positions, because I started off as a quarterback. So I was always taught to understand the field and understand every position.
Right.
So it's just that transitions and carries over now that I have so much high affinity for myself that, one, I don't want to let myself down.
Right.
Is two, am I going to make my parents proud? Not am I going to make them mad,
No.
but am I gonna make them proud? And then that's pretty much how I operate. And it's like, if I'm not gonna do either one of those, I just don't do it.
Don't do it. Exactly. My dad is 90, just turned 90 in January. And we had a celebration for him. Normally we have a little party at that for him, but because of the way the world is right now, we had it online, and we had people all over the world. We had about I was saying too that about my dad. We had a celebration for my dad, and it was just so ironic how all of us, all my siblings, we all said the same thing. We loved him. We didn't understand what he was doing at the time, but now he instilled, man. My younger brother is a pilot. He's a jet pilot. You know, my two nephews, Kevin is 37. He's also a pilot. He just became a captain. My other cousin is in Canada. He's a construction engineer. You know, we've all pushed through. I mean, we had so many obstacles.
Right.
But because of dad, that we just excelled to another level. We took like we were here, and we just like, okay, this ain't good enough, you know, and boom, just shut up. You know, I interviewed Kevin, and he was one, you know, he was one of I was one of his mentors. And I used to coach him on the possibilities. He wanted to be a pilot. He started washing planes, okay, being in the environment. And they liked him. He washed planes so well that they began teaching him how to fix planes. He said he became an airline mechanic. And then guess what? He learned to fly. Then he got his pilot's license. Now he flies for United as a captain. I mean, that's a great story of determination and grit. He's on my podcast, Kevin Spencer.
Well, see, what you had is not only a father, but you had a high performance coach and didn't realize it.
There you go.
You didn't realize it.
Didn't realize it. So we love Dad now. He's 90. He's ailing, not 90 years old. He got all these ailments, but his mind is still sharp. And we just love him to death because of what the step. He wasn't a perfect man. None of us are, but he was a good dad, and he was a strategic coach for all of us. He didn't know what he was doing, but he just knew he wanted his kids. He always said to me, son, you got to be better than your dad.
That's awesome.
That was powerful. He always said, you got to be better than your dad.
That's a legacy to be, proud of.
Yes.
Which exactly is the path that I'm on. Like, hey, what am I going to leave for my kids? What am I going to instill into them? What am I going to instill into my family? What am I going to instill into the people I've coached, the people I've touched, the people I'm friends with? Having that higher level of accountability, higher level of acceptance of yourself to now make everyone more accepting of themselves and know that I'm going to hold them accountable and do those, magnificent things that you've done, your brother has done, and everyone else in your family has done, and everyone else that he's affected. It's the same principles, man. It's high performance. You gotta love it. Love it.
I love that phrase, high performance. I really do. Going back to resonance a little bit, when I was trying to come up with a name for my show, and I mean, I vacillated back and forth, all different names. I mean, this name and that name. And one day I got up, and it just like, in the think tank. Wow, it just hit me, and I just stopped everything.
Yeah.
It comes because the subconscious knows I wanted something that was impactful, something that you hear in the think tank, and the resonance was just there, and I stuck with it, and that's it. I'm done. I'm not looking anymore. So great, man.
Actually, principles that you didn't even realize you did.
Exactly. But what I've been meditating on my life for 30 years, and I'm on a higher level in terms of my thought pattern. So it goes in line with what I do. But let me go back. Let's just kind of wrap up a little bit more. Let's tell a little bit more about exactly what you do, how your process works in your high performance coaching.
Well, basically, I take a person anywhere between 6 months to a year, which is what I've been working with my athletes, and I pretty much go over the 5 to 6 core points of high performance. Now, one of the things, hopefully the listeners by now understand high performance is, but if you don't, most people don't understand a subset of basically life coaching, right? Mm-hmm. So outside of life coaching is specific to just performance, how to get you to perform well, how to get you to do more and be better, not only just in life, but you can, use this process for your professional life, your athletic life, anything that you want to do, your parenting, focus more more on your energy, your influence, your courage, your clarity, your productivity, your purpose, to really get you to know who you are, and your presence, to be more aware of who you are at the time that you're there, right? So those are the core principles of high performance. But like I said, I dive a little bit deeper and I add the athletic layer into it because, hey, we're all athletes inside. We just don't know it yet, or we just haven't tapped into it. So with my Athletes Edge program, I really focus more on education, the discipline, getting you grounded, and how to have that energy, how to have the energy I have every day. Like you say, whenever we speak, is because I'm living from my purpose, and I'm living with passion. You know, people tell you to live with passion, live with purpose. But for a person who doesn't know either one of those, it's very hard to get up in the it staggers, it wavers. But when you start understanding the principles and the habits that not only I teach, but it's also backed by science and backed by research, you'll be like, hey man, like, it's possible. And not only is it possible for me and you and the person that is, but it's possible and has been happening for some of the most prolific people you have seen today, and even the generations and centuries prior to us. So like they say, success leaves clues.
Right.
You know, part of the clue of success is becoming a high performer, but one of the things people don't talk about, you know, nowadays people want the laptop lifestyle, the chilling, the not putting in the work, and you know, working the 4-hour work week. It's like, dude, really?
I know.
4-hour work
One
week. Person only works 4 hours a week and is really, you know, really crushing it in life and in business.
Yeah.
Because you can name the top 10 most successful people in the world, they are still working. You look at Warren Buffett, he reads 8 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of the most successful investors of our generation.
Right.
And as old as he is, he's reading 8 hours a day. That's just reading. What else is he doing? You know, some of these success clues and stuff that are out there, people just don't pay attention to, or they hear it and they don't subconsciously, like we've been talking about, really understand what's happening in the background or how to get that result. So what I do in high performance coaching is get people to understand these things. The most important part of it is having clarity. When you have clarity with who you are and what you're doing, your purpose, your passion, your drive, your energy, your reverence, you start vibrating at higher levels. That's how you start getting, to those levels of unlocking anything that you want. It doesn't have to be money, Part of my coaching as well, I really break down money, because money is a language just like English, Spanish, and everything else. It's a language. When you understand the language of money, money comes to you.
Right. Exactly.
When you understand the language of all of the things that I'm talking about, and the habits and the principles of how to enact them and how to do them, thing comes to you, man. Yeah. So that's what I focus on in high performance and in my coaching.
Like they said, excuse me, like they said, what you seek is always seeking you, right?
You're right.
That phrase also, right. What you seek is always seeking. Because if you seek something, then you're passionate about it. Then you go after it with I like to use Les Brown's with all the sagacity. Because I watch Les Brown. I love Les. Les is one of my mentors. Because he was
actually, what are you seeking?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, what are you seeking?
Oh, what am I seeking? I'm seeking peace within. If I have peace and everything else is working, I've got peace. I want a life for my wife and I that as we grow older, we've been married 20 years now. As we grow older, that we have peace. We have peace in our lives. So the day that God calls us home, we have no regrets. Like I always say, I love life so much. My passion for life is infinite. That the day that I close my eyes, I want to look up to the sky and look up to the heavens and have no regrets. I gave a talk one time about the biggest regrets of the dying. There was a survey done of about 120 people who were in hospice on their deathbed. And they asked every one of them, what are your regrets in life? Your number one regret in life. And 99% of them said, the things I didn't do, the things I didn't attempt or try. The second was the people I chose not to love, but the number one was the things I didn't do. So I don't ever want to look up to the sky, my deathbed, and say, boy, I regret. I want to try. I want to die empty. And all of us should want to die empty. And that's the thing, and people don't understand. You only have one life. You You're gonna
Correct.
die one day. So what are you afraid of? We're all gonna go there one day. What
You're Les Brown, man. You know, Les Brown says the richest place in the world is a graveyard, right?
That's right. You know, what are you afraid of? Why aren't you trying this? Why you want to be sure you have a job, but you're gonna have a job, but still have a passion for your dream. Work on your dream. Like what's his name? Gary V. Gary V says, man, go to that 9 to 5. But if you're working from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, fine, you give your project. But at 5:05, now it's your job. You know?
Right. But you're forgetting you're putting out people who are passionate and who have, you know, principles and habits that they're able to do these things.
Yeah.
What about the people that we talk to and people that we try to reach and the people that we want to help are those who are in limbo, those who are stuck, those who are conditioned.
That's right.
Yeah, they're hearing everyone else say this, but to them, they're like, yeah, maybe for you, not for me, because they have limiting beliefs.
Right.
Or they have no knowledge of how to get themselves to, which is why coaches like me exist.
You know,
They
at
just
one time,
don't know.
One time I celebrated 3 or 4 years ago, and I heard the word coach. You know, you know, my wife's my biggest critic. You know, so I say I bounce stuff, and she always thinks that everybody's not like you, Martin. I say I know that because I always said to her that you know, someone who needs a coach to coach in their personal life has a lot to be desired. And she said to me, but babe, everybody's not like you. And it's so true. Some people need coaching. I don't need a coach, but yes. But if you're working on a specific field, like for example, if I want to take my product and create a high ticket item like my friend does, that's what he does every day. So now I'm going to reach out to him to be my coach for that specific problem, not for my life, but that specific problem which I want to solve, because he knows more than I do. So you need a coach. So somebody who's lacking enthusiasm and lacking passion, they need you. Because when time I talk to you, man, you just lift me up because I feel the passion in your voice, in what you say and how you do it.
I appreciate it, man. To me, it's just my natural every day.
I know.
When I talk to people, they're like, "Yo, you need to calm down." I'm like, bro, like I got so much energy for life. Like tomorrow's not promised to me. So why not live today? You know, if I live every day like this, I'm gonna own my life.
That's right.
It's not. I'm not doing it for a show. I'm doing it because I have it. I know how to generate it. I know how to sustain it, and I know how to move it. I want to move it. And it's back to what you were saying about coaching. I played sports all my life. There were some coaches I had that should not be named coach. Like
I know.
So I was kind of leery when I started moving out of my 9 to 5, and I'm like, hey, I'm a coach. I was like, should I play with coach or should I play with advisor? But it's all the same. And it's like, okay, well, what's going to be from coach or advisor is giving and pouring into people like the great coaches I've had in my career have poured into me. And it's like you said, everyone needs a coach. And even me, when I'm doing different things or pushing to new levels, why try to do this alone and why bump your head when there are people out there that have been there or are there that can pull me up instead of me have to push to get through it. So yeah, this is why coaches exist. And for people listening, if you feel that any of this is resonating with you or you're somewhere else, hey, reach out to me or find someone else in these spaces or these avenues that you need, because there are people out there that exist to help you get to where you want to go instead of having to fight it.
Yes, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't want to reach for help. They think they think it's it's beneath them or for all they come up with every reason not to do it, to take themselves to the next. I mean, I'm a self-achiever, trust me, because I stay up there. I mean, I work for like what's his name? 50 cents. 50 cents says sleep is for people who are broke. If you're sleeping all the time, you are broke. Trust me, you know. Sleep says sleeping is for people that are broken. I look at little analogies and I put it into my life, and I say, you know, I hear these things and I say, you know what, these guys are right. You know, he started off, 50 Cent started off in his thing, in the gang thing, and this guy, and guess what? He aligned himself with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett became his coach, you know, and told him to buy this, do this, and then I mean, it just, you know, how people change their lives is amazing how they change their lives based on what they see other people do. If you can do it or he can do it, or if he's that way, I want to be next to him, you know.
Another thing is people have to pay attention to life situations. You know, Life is either going to happen to you or happen for you. And if it's happening for you, that means you're directing life and you're pushing it. If it happens to you, that means you're stalling it. And whoever you might believe in, if you believe in anyone, they're saying, hey, it's time to get going, time to get you to the next level. Throughout my career, I was a law enforcement officer for 13 years. And as I'm doing this, my first 2-3 years was, hey man, I want to help. I want to be like my parents. I want to be like members who were all law enforcement officers. But then it was like, how can I do it in my own way? And then I'm, during that time, I've got to see people at their worst, at their best. I've gotten to see some of the worst scenes ever to some of the best scenes ever. And then I really start paying attention, like, hey man, people need performance coaching. As I'm in uniform, I'm performance coaching people in relationships, people in general, I needed help, or people that's just really like, I need police, like criminals I'm arresting, going to jail. I'm talking to them in the squad car, coaching them to the point that, they hate police, but me, they're like, hey man, can I talk to you when I get out? I'm like, I don't think that's such a, but it's like realizing that, hey, like I made an impact on somebody's lives. So I was like, hey, instead of doing this locally, let's do this nationally. Let's do this globally. Let me help people all around the world in what I'm really good at. And they just, once they see it, once they understand what coaching is, either they're going to start coming to it, but you got to be high vibration, got to be of high reverence, which I realized I was doing all the time. I never really realized it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, my friend, it's been awesome. I look forward to this day, and you just been an inspiration. Trust me.
I appreciate you. Same to you as well, man. Same to you as well.
I don't take friendships lightly. Like I said, we became friends. We don't talk every day. Friends are not people you talk to every day. Associates, You think about. I thought about you. I was going through my phone book. I thought about you. I said, wow. Let me call my buddy. Let me call him up. I need to put him on. I gotta get him to think that he has a lot to offer, a lot to bring to the table. And you lift people up, honestly, just by listening to you. Just by listening.
I'm honored, man. I'm honored. I appreciate it.
Good, my brother.
My pleasure.
Take care of your wife. Take care of your kids. You have 2 kids now, right? A boy and a girl, or 2 girls?
3. 2 girls, 1. Yeah.
How old was the last one?
13, 4, and 3.
Whoa, wonderful. They're growing fast, man.
Yeah, very fast.
They give you a reason. They give you a reason for what you do.
My legacy started 13-year-old. And then now with the last 2, it's like, what am I leaving them? My goals change, missions change, my actions have changed. All to when I see them, it's like I want to not only just pour into them, but I want to be able to give them something to say, like, Dad gave us this. This is what Dad built. So, whether they continue it or not, it's knowing that I've provided in a different way other than just being a parent and giving money,
I like what you said earlier about not saying no to them, but asking them, what did you say? What question did you ask her?
Why?
Why should I do it? Why should I give you this? Why? Exactly.
Yeah.
Not just no. Let her think and come up with a solution. Why do I need this? Why do I need this other game? Why do I need this toy? Why? Exactly.
Make them all of this stuff has definitely, changed my outlook. And like you said, it changes your direction and where you're going and what you're doing. Course for parenting called, Legacy Upcycle. And it's all about, how can you respond not only for yourself, within yourself, but how to respond and pour it into your kids, because not everybody's, meant to be a millionaire, billionaire. Not everybody's meant to have generational wealth that they can, leave for their family, like the Rockefellers or the Trumps and, people of that generation. So what can you do? Not only can you for your kids to be better, like your father did, but you can also inspire them to say, hey, look, your great grandmother, great grandfather did this, and this is what they did. And because they did that, I'm continuing that tradition. Why it's called the legacy upcycle is because everybody's all cycle. You pour the same thing into your kids, and maybe you add on like a sprinkle of your own little thing. But what if you're a person of high resonance, high vibrancy, that you can start a whole new trend, a whole new generational thing, and leave that for your kids. And it doesn't, it's not, success is not about the money. It's about who you are and what you pour into your kids. So, that was one of the things that's my 13-year-old that I continue now. And I was like, man, I might as well make this a course. Like so many people ask about it. And, this is how things happen. This is how things start to get created and built. But as long as you're on that process, man, everything is going to always work out. Always work out.
Always. That's why I said, man, I'm an eternal optimist. You know, and it's true. I never see the downside in anything. So you think about something and it doesn't happen, and I ask myself, what lesson did I learn?
And this
what
is
lesson
why
did I learn?
This
Exactly.
is why you're so prosperous, my man.
You know what?
And this is why I appreciate you.
Good. You know, and it's true. I mean, because I'm not perfect. I mean, I have aspirations and goals, but sometimes things don't work out. And when you're an avid reader and a thirst for knowledge, you at my age, that you stop and you think for a moment. Okay, what is the lesson in there for me? Okay,
Correct.
And then I let it go. And then I keep striving again. Then I always accomplish my goals because it just flows. Life flows. I read another book called Flow, and he talked about the gentleman. He was going through a lot of hard times, and he met this old Chinese philosopher again. And the Chinese philosopher said to him, "Be still, my son. It will come to you.
Mm-hmm.
It will come to you." And he talked about he went different places, and then life just happened because he allowed life to flow. You know,
trust me, that's definitely one of the books I recommend for my coaching as well. So it's an awesome book.
We can talk. You and I can talk, because I can talk that talk all day long, man. I trust me.
As well, you also bring more energy out of me because I love these conversations.
It's because you don't meet very many people who you can have that passion for life. You know, I mean, you meet people every day, but there are certain people in your life that just resonates and it brings out the best in you. You know, and you listen, and I can talk to a person like you all day long because that's the level that I'm on. It's getting that energy, man, and I feed off of.
I call it a temperature effect, man. Like you want to be around those people who are going to raise your temperature as much as possible, so you keep it raised.
Man, you have some good. Yeah, I love that phrase. Raise your temperature. I love that one. Yo, you have all these isms, man.
Yeah.
But so if anybody wants to get a hold of you, want to get coaching done, want you to assist them, what's the best medium for you? What's your website?
You can go to connect.DiivoryEdgecomb.com. Connect.DiivoryEdgecomb. That's pretty much my hub for all my social medias, all my trainings, all my books, my ebooks. If you want to follow me directly on social, it's just at DiIvoryEdgecomb. Any platform, it's just my name. And if you're looking for, coaching, which all the links are on the connect.DiivoryEdgecomb.com, but it's aexlife.com as well. Athletes Advantage or Experience. I'm sorry, Athletes Edge Experience.
Okay,
aexlife.com.
Okay, aexlife.com. Right, I didn't know about
Correct.
that. I'll check it out too. Yeah.
So now, basically, after the sports season is over, I'm definitely transitioning back into helping the entrepreneurs, the people, the 9-to-5ers who want to transition, who want to do more. I've definitely started doing group coaching now. Pandemic really showed me how much I was really needed, but I didn't really think it was something that people would accept or want at the time, which has always been my whole my drawback from it. But then when I looked at it, I realized that, life has been pushing me as well. Like, what are you doing? You're not reaching enough. You're not helping enough people who really need it. So, that's been my passion now for 2021. Since my birthday, that was kind of like my birthday gift to myself. Make sure I open up group coaching, make sure I give back to the people, give free sessions back out, do those types of things. So that I'm more excited for now.
That's important. Giving back, giving a little bit back.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm more excited about that now than actually what I was doing. So it's fun. It's a fun mix.
Good. Like Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, guess what? You get what you want. Exactly. So I've read all the greats, man. I've read all the greats, man. I love them. And sometimes I read a book that I read years ago. I go back and I don't read the whole thing, but I just get inspired by going back and reading that book again. And it's just like, wow. It's basic. Everything is the same. It's just a different modality.
So what it's for. I tell that gets my book and people that I give to them through coaching and my academy as well. I said, hey, that book is almost like your best friend. You don't read it once, you don't read it twice, you read it every time. Anytime you think you're going through something, find a chapter and read.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, and also the last thing that I'm also what I have created is the Legacy Builders Academy. So you want direct access to me is the Legacy Builders Academy. And that's what it's called. It's legacybuildersacademy.net. And it's basically an academy, an online academy for people who want more. Just You want more out of life, you want more out of business, go to legacybuildersacademy.net. And I'm trying to, connect a whole bunch of people, put everyone together who wants more, inspired more, just show you that you're not the only one. There's other people around the world and even around the country that, wants more. So, hey, why not connect with you guys? I go live twice, just the same way I do my group coaching. And it's a real chill environment where you not only get to learn certain things, but you also get a high performance coach as well in there with me. So
man,
we all build our legacies together.
You're doing it, man. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I'm so happy that I made your acquaintance.
I appreciate it, brother. You actually inspired that too as well. So our last conference.
Yeah, we went to the 10X, 10X.
Our last conference, you inspired that as well. So.
Grant Cardone, man, my boy,
That's my man.
Yes, indeed. Well, my brother, it's been a pleasure. It's really, really been a pleasure.
Pleasure as always, my man.
Yeah.
Thank your audience, and I appreciate you having me.
Let's stay connected, and I wish you all the best, and take care of the family like we know you do. And man, you'll do well, I'll do well, and we'll connect it along the way, in the middle somewhere.
Definitely. We got big things coming together, man.
Yes,
so
yes.
Be ready. Just be ready.
I'm gonna connect you with, I'll send you Michael's link, my brother in Thailand, who I think is same vibratory energy when you talk with him. He's a really cool person, and I think you'll enjoy meeting him. And he's open to everything, Okay, my brother. So you take care of yourself, and like I always say,
take care as well, my man. And the one thing I'm gonna leave your audience with is to be awesome. My saying is be awesome. Don't be great. Don't strive for average. Strive to be awesome, because there is no limits to it, and there's only one you anyway.
That's right. Like I said in the beginning, you're not an ordinary person. You're an extraordinary person. So you stay that way. So take care, my friend, and we talk soon.
Appreciate you.
Okay, bye now.